are you, man? Vitor, tudo bem, Vitor? Joe, Joe from Buck, man, it's good to see you, buddy. Uh, nice of great people. Doug Belo, não presta. Serna joined, that's cool. Renato Move joined. Jeffrey Design joined. Man, a lot of great people here. It's so good to see you guys around. I'm gonna have this special. Oh, Choi kisses. Choi is the best. So I have a really special guest today, guys. I know a lot of you have a lot of questions for this guy, and I have a lot of questions for this guy as well. First, I don't know if he's aware of how good he is. I know that he's really good, so I want to dive into his. Oh, you don't know the guest, JD Stewart. So this is gonna be a surprise. So today we're gonna talk to Jorge Canedo. It's just an ordinary folk, the frontman of the very talented studio Ordinary Folk. Let me see if he's around. The guy's right here. So let's dive into this. Where he is, where he is. There
Yep.
he is.
How's it going?
Hey man, good, and you?
Good. This is a very small screen. This is great.
I was talking to Joe and Joe Donaldson
Yeah.
about this live stream kind of thing, and we both agree that we are really old to do this kind of stuff. You know,
Well,
too
now you can
much,
tell me
too
how
much, too much technology.
like, grandpa
Man,
used TikTok.
I gotta ask you, how people call you there? It's Jorge, or you already a George in
No,
Canada?
I refuse to be a George. Uh, no, they call me in the Canadian way, Jorge.
Jorge. Uh-huh.
Jorge. Dude,
Jorge.
thanks for having me. And I can I say something?
Of course. It's your space here.
I have a bunch of questions for you that I want to ask.
No. No, come on.
I mean, I'm sure I'm just very curious about what you've been up to. Like, you've been
Uh-huh.
probably one of the most influential animators in the industry in many ways. You're definitely out
Uh-huh.
there.
Man,
And
thank you.
you
This
got
is
something. You
this is
got
a
something.
chat. This is not like an interview in any ways. I'm not here just like this is supposed to be like a chat. And man, feel free to ask away. And I'm sure like people listening to these and seeing these, I want you guys to make a lot of questions today as well. So yeah, this is more for our community to see what we're up to, like in times like these. So it's mostly to keep us connected in a way. And I know you've been doing this very, very good with Blend and with all the stuff that you're putting out there. It's so man, let's dive into this, buddy, because
Yeah.
yeah. So
Well,
I don't even know how to start,
I
but
I'll ask you questions for starters. Well, first, thanks for having me. This is pretty fun, and I don't know if we've actually ever had like a proper conversation, so this is a good excuse to do that with a bunch of ears dropping. So that's great.
just don't worry. I can you're cutting off a little bit. I don't know if I am.
Again,
Maybe it is. Oh,
hello.
yeah. Now I hear you better. Yes.
Great.
Cool.
Yeah, I was just I'm curious to see how, because you have like a pretty unique thing with Blink My Brain. Like it's kind of like a studio. It's a solo studio, but it's
Yeah.
also you. And I feel like there's not much of that. And I'm mostly curious because I kind of toyed with that idea when I went freelance myself. It was like, what does a
Mm-hmm.
solo studio thing look like? Ended up not going that route. But yeah, what like is Blink My Brain just you, and then you bring in a bunch of people? and like you have a bunch of reps and you are rep like a studio or as a solo artist?
Yeah. Yeah, so tomorrow you guys will understand better because this is like an idea that I copy, and I don't have like any shame to say that out loud. I copied that from Erica Grosho. She is the owner of Pepperelli. So tomorrow I'm gonna chat with her. I'm gonna chat with her, and I had this. I always, when I became a freelancer, I was struggling to find myself within the industry because I wanted to do something different, but not different to stand out, different for myself, because I've been doing a lot of stuff for Buck. I was working for Buck like for 2.5 years, and I wanted to come up with something to explore different ways, different medias, but I don't know if I understood what I was at that point. So when I went to Blend for the first time, not the last edition, but the previous one,
Mhm.
like 6 years ago or
Yeah,
something like that.
2015.
Yeah, I had this conversation with Erica, and she explained to me how she handled business, and I thought that was a very clever way to deal business, because back in Brazil, I had my own studio, and of course, Brazil is a different scenario. We don't have like an industry there, but at the time, I understood how tough it was to deal with a studio, and not only studio, but like the bureaucracy, and to have people under your payroll, and I that kind of burned me a little bit in a way, because I like to be in the creative side. So when I had this conversation with her, I understood that I could be something more than just a freelancer, you know? And this format that you have like your company, you're just one man band, but you have people to work with you and, be there to support you in the animation, or it's either animation or producing or whatever. So it took me some time for me to find the right people, my to-go people. And once I found that, I kind of decided, okay, I think this is time to go blink my brain and do like this remotely studio. So basically, I'm not like an official studio. You know, I can be a studio if the client needs me to be a studio, but it can be a single guy if the project needs me to be like a single guy.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, that's pretty much it. But I kind of miss, of course, miss to have more closer collaborations like you guys at Ordinary Folks have, because I can see you guys have like a very consistent body of work. You guys, it seems like you guys think in the same way,
Yeah.
because your work, like your studio work, it's super consistent all across the board.
Thank you.
So now I have a question for you.
Yeah.
How you guys keep the consistency across the board? I know you're going to say people are talented. This is not, it's not an answer because you can see that through your work, like through Ordinary Folk work. People are extremely talented. But how you guys keep this unique vision? How you guys think together?
Yeah, that's a good question. Before I answer that, I just want to say also Erica herself had a big influence on me at Blend. Like we had a similar conversation, and anyway, this was a few Blends ago, and I think it might have been the same Blend. And
Maybe.
Anyway, she kind of like pushed me, and I was like, man, she's doing it right. And that's kind of when I started toying with the idea of. Anyway, I just wanted to give props to her because I feel like she's influenced more people as she knows, which is pretty cool. But yeah, how do we keep the consistency? I think there's definitely an element of taste. Like we just gravitate towards people that have similar tastes than us, and we attract people that, Oh, someone's asking me Erica Gorochow.
Yeah. I'm gonna have a chat with her tomorrow. So yeah, come tomorrow so you know You guys know who is she, and she's like a really badass woman
Yeah, she's
living
great.
in New York, and yeah, she's amazing.
But yeah, I think like naturally people started liking our work with the shapes and the circles, and they were like, so that I feel like that was the first step. Like you kind of attract people that are interested in your work, and you are naturally attracted to people that you like their work, like just taste, pure taste. So I think that's number one, and the other one is that I think we try to keep everybody involved in the team as much as possible. Like
Yeah.
from as early on as it makes sense to bring people so that everybody kind of has this vision and everybody kind of going the same direction. And then the other one, which is very practical, is we assign like an animation lead that can establish that feel, and
Hmm.
then that person kind of like makes sure that everything flows in that. And if often, someone will go crazy and animate something
Hmm.
awesome, but it just doesn't fit. So you kind of like reel them back in, like make them a little bit more boring or make them a little bit more crazy. And but yeah, I think that's part of it. And honestly, it's hard. I'll lie if I feel like if it was all planned, like sometimes it just works out. Like it's like,
That's
okay,
cool.
we got this project, we're gonna get like we need 3 designers because otherwise we can't finish it on time. 2 of these people we've never worked with, but they're gonna be great. And then we need 3 more animators to finish it. Let's just find people right now. And then we find this person that we've never worked with, and they end up being great as well. And somehow it all fits very well, and rarely it's been a bad experience, almost never.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like a lot of times, like when we put it all together for the first rough cut, it's like, oh, it doesn't work. We're okay. it's, uh, it's definitely an element of winging it for sure. But yeah, that's kind of it.
It's so cool, man. I think it just it meant to be, like it's you guys are putting a lot of great stuff in there. There was this little I would say style, but I would say trendy of explaining explainer kind of videos that was out there. But I feel like you guys raised the bar and put that in something like, dude, it's crazy. It's pure art in the animation, and I love seeing like all the gradients. The piece you guys did for the motion school, man, classy. So amazing, so
So,
amazing. Yeah, kudos to all the team, you, and yeah, that was an amazing piece. And I wanna say that I've been a follower of your work since you were, I think it's in Vancouver school that you,
yeah,
you used to put like a lot of goofy videos
yeah,
on Vimeo. Like there's one that you were playing around with this filter that your face is all
yeah.
distorted, like so.
Yeah, I think that's still there somewhere, or maybe I
Yeah.
took it down. But yeah, yeah, that's
And
10 years ago. Can you believe it?
yeah, man, it's like it's from like, man, it's ages ago. And I see your progression. Like it's so awesome to see. Like it's clear that you're getting better, better, and better. And you hit the boom when you created that piece for Buck, the Superman piece.
Yeah,
There, I think there were, I might be mistaken, but I feel like that project is where you hit like the very, very, very high scale, and people started to really know you and to understand how good you were, and then with the keyframes and
well,
everything.
it's funny you mentioned that piece. I think I might have seen Joe's name in the.
Yeah, Joe's around here. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like I get a lot of the credit for the piece, but he was the genius behind it.
Uh-huh.
Um,
No, 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 no question at all. Like Joe is one of the best like creative directors that I ever seen. I
oh,
mean, I'm talking about keyframes,
yeah,
like the keyframes in that piece was super smooth. It's like it was people were doing not very smooth things, and Buck, of course, Buck is always raising the bar. in terms of projects. But when I saw those keyframes, and it's a long piece, like it's a minute and something, and everything's consistent. Like the flow of that animation, it's great. So man, that was great. It was great to see you rise in that
Yeah.
moment.
It was kind of,
And
sorry, I was just going to say something before I forget.
mhm.
Is that piece, it kind of like in many ways, Joe opened my eyes to how cool these things could be. Like, because they kind of
Mhm.
like, I think it was like a pro bono piece, and I was an intern.
Yeah,
It was like, oh, can you come up with ideas for this? And I came up with a couple stuff, but it was like your classic infographic stuff that I came up with. It was like, like maybe a little frames that are.
yeah,
Um,
you're back.
my frames were like nothing special. And then like I saw Joe taking inspiration from like all these different places. Like he saw this short film that was like all shapes, and then he had like all this weird stuff.
Uh-huh.
And then he was like, we can make an infographic out of this. And I was like, okay, you tell me how. And it was just like really eye opening to see. Like in many ways, I feel like that changed the course of infographics, at least for our little community, because it was
Yeah.
taking a complete fresh approach, and it still told a strong story.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't need poor Sarah, that whatever doesn't have any water, but then here comes the organization that helps save her life, and everything's okay at the end. Like it's just completely way of approaching the story, and different shapes and different style, which I thought it was very cool. So ever since that project, I've always kind of wondered what would be the outside the box approach. And often, sometimes it doesn't work, but I feel like
Mm-hmm.
seeing how he approached it, it really helped me. And then his direction on animation was to make it move cool. Make it awesome, he said. And I was like,
Uh-huh.
do my best.
Yeah, what I like about my experience at Buck is it's the freedom that you have there. Like of course you have directions, because we want to create something cool, and like we have to obey some rules in terms of design, and but like the freedom is amazing. Like people really embrace your skills there, and they want you to produce the best. And I've learned so much from those people when I worked there. I don't know for how long did you work? Work for
Yeah,
Buck?
for over a year.
Oh, a year. Yeah, yeah. I worked there for almost 2 years and a half. I don't have like a degree in design or anything like that, but just by watching those crazy people working there, it was my school in a way.
Yeah.
I've learned so much from Joe, from Jenny, from Steve, all the creative directors there, like Choi, of course, talented people. I love those guys.
It's funny when we were talking about Blend. A lot of us have had experience working with those amazing heroes, right? Like,
Uh-huh.
if you haven't really worked that bug, you probably wouldn't know who Jenny is, or who
Yeah.
Joe is, and
Who
because
Joe?
like they
Yes.
have a strong, they're kind of like the forefathers, not in terms of age, but in terms of exploration, and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they kind of like are making all this amazing stuff. Um, and then I feel like we were like, we gotta bring these people to the highlight, like, so
Sure.
we've tried to get like as many people from Buck that are like amazing, that are kind of
Uh-huh.
under the wraps, that nobody really knows who they are unless you work there, and kind of like bring them to light. And because I feel like
Yeah.
people deserve so much than what they get, like, um, Joe Mullen.
It's so funny because I don't know, in my experience, they might be in a different level because they don't care about putting their work on Instagram or social media. They just care about doing great work. When they sit there and they are doing stuff, they don't care about promoting. It's not about the promotion. It's not about the final thing. It's mostly about the ride, you know, like from point A to point B. And that's, I don't know, maybe when I grow up a little bit, I can be in a certain level.
That's what I feel too. Like I want to grow to the point that I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care about anything basically.
You
But
just want to have fun and that's it.
like I'm like so invested in a project that I make the best I can, no matter who likes it or who doesn't. Obviously, you know, design world, we're working for clients, all this stuff. You still want to accomplish those things, but yeah, I
Totally.
definitely respect that level of, you know, being behind the curtain, making everything happen,
Hmm.
and just really showing your work through the results, not necessarily through yourself. I think that's really awesome.
Totally. Totally agree. And of course, after Buck, you went back to Canada and you find some ants in Canada, but some giant ones, working with those amazing people, giant ant. How was that experience for you?
Oh man, that was great. I have nothing but amazing things to say uh, of pretty much every place I've worked. Like I've been so blessed to like never really had a bad work environment experience. And like so first Buck and then Giant Ant, they both
Hmm.
taught me everything I know in various different ways, and obviously much more a Giant Ant because I was there for longer and
Yes.
I was, you know, given more responsibility and a room to grow like in no other place really. And that's pretty much everything I knew about running a studio or dealing with clients. I learned Jay and everybody there that were kind of like
That's cool.
seeing things so openly and yeah, like so that's probably the best work experience I've ever had, no question. And without having been able to be there, I wouldn't be here. That's for sure. But yeah, it was really great. I think like it just everything all lined up in the right time. Like it was it's a small studio when I like I think I was the seventh hire, and half of it was still live action, and the other half was still just animation. Like there weren't many of us in animation, and it was just always open to like ideas and all those crazy projects. And they had such a family mentality in a way
Hmm.
that you know. Obviously, I've tried to recreate that in some certain aspects here because I was like, oh, there's just really a sense of
That's cool.
community here, and everybody kind of like looking after each other. And it was the experience was so good, really, that that's why when I toyed with the idea of a solo studio, I just missed that.
The family,
Yeah,
yeah,
like
yeah, I know, I
going
know.
to the room and like you know seeing the same people and like working together. So it was kind of like I missed that, and I started missing that really fast.
Hmm.
But yeah, we got to work with some amazing people there. You know, besides Jay and Leah, who's running the studio,
Hmm.
getting to know all these amazing people that have some of them have gone into more exciting things. Some of them are still there that are equally exciting, really. But yeah, I think seeing growing with a studio was probably one of the coolest things. Like seeing how like we're getting bigger projects, and all of a sudden, oh, we're competing against Buck, or we're like,
Eh,
oh, like people recognize our work, and like, oh,
I
look at
feel I feel like you guys grew together, like you as a professional and they as a studio, like you guys like grew together.
yeah, yeah. I think yeah, I definitely feel like that was a kind of like an exponential
That's
time
cool.
in my career, and then you know as we grew, there were more people that came in, like Raphael and a few other folks. Nico came in, and
Hmm.
all those Brazilians like Enrique and
Yeah, yeah.
new Brazilians are taking over the industry, like slowly creeping
We are
way
we
out
are
of
we are the real ants, man. We're everywhere.
yeah. There's so many Brazilians here in Vancouver.
Yeah,
It's great. Love
it's
it.
cool. And I wanna get your perspective on this because I struggle with this decision of having my own studio for a very long time. And to be honest, time to times I still have this struggle to see, is it maybe time for me to be a real studio or not? And we are in exactly the same positions because we both are married. We both have two kids, and this is three kids. Yeah, man! Congratulations, dude.
Keep going, man. Keep going.
I have to catch up. Yeah. So, So it's a big decision, you know, like being a freelancer, it's already a big decision. You know, I'm just going to be working, you know, for myself and I'm just going to be around there doing my stuff. But having a studio, it's not just you, it's people involved, it's a structure involved. So how was for you to take that decision and say, okay, it's all in, you know, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, I was terrified. Like, I think like I was, I kind of knew I wanted to do it. And after freelancing for a bit, I kind of was sure that I wanted to do it, but the when and how to make and take that step was very hesitant, little tippy toesies. And it started with with Victor. It was like kind of hiring him to help me, and then he never stopped working for me.
Mm.
And then eventually he became the first hire of the studio. But it was like just like a freelancer that I was hiring for projects. And then it was like, okay, maybe, but we kind of need more people. And then I think what caused the jump was finding the right people. It was that simple. It was like
Yes.
essentially Stefan, who was my previous client for other projects, like he had hired me for other projects, all of a sudden was available for producing. And then Greg showed up basically one day, and all of a sudden this connection just started to happen without really me seeking them in a way. And all of a sudden everything lined up, and I was like, okay, I think we have the pieces to kind of like take the leap. And eventually it was like, okay, we're gonna do this. Like after everything kind of fell into place, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna be alone, so I think we can do it.
Uh-huh. That's cool.
Yeah. So that was
But
that was that was cool.
did you have to look for people or just people just appear like to in front of you and what was one of those things like in our on our industry like After Effects for example we're trying to create like an animation A and we have those happy accidents where we create the animation B which is
Yeah.
even awesome you know so do you think that was like a happy accident where people just start to gathering
Yeah.
around this?
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. I like 100%.
That's cool.
Yeah. This was all very much like everything fell into place,
That's amazing.
right? Like it was just like it almost like out of my control, definitely. And yeah, I think once that kind of happened, I was like, okay, like part of my reason to start a studio was so that I could create something that was beyond me, like something that lived outside my name or his name or Jared Hanna's name, something that could have a life of its own, so that even if I, leave or whatever, like the studio still has a soul that is not just me.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one was to have like this community. So it kind of felt like these two things fell into place, and I was like, okay, we're gonna do this, and I don't know how it's gonna go. Like you all are jumping, into this crazy boat with me, and we'll see how it goes. And thankfully, it's been okay.
It's been great, man. I can see that, man. It's so awesome. I think that's maybe one of those reasons that I didn't have my studio yet because I was not lucky enough, like yourself, to find the right people who
Mm,
think exactly like you
mm.
and who has the same vibe, the same energy to create something so consistent. As we were talking, like like in the beginning of this conversation. It's so great to see that everything worked out for you guys.
Yeah, I think B had a.
Yeah, yeah. I pin here because she has a great question here. B, keys for you. She's another Brazilian super badass
Oh, she's.
designer, animator. She's great. So she says, guys, I have a question. Now that you touch on it, do you feel fatherhood had an impact in your career? If yes, what changed? I'd love to see the dudes talking about that more.
Yes.
That's
Good
cool,
question.
man.
Hashtag motion dads. You know.
Motion dads, yes.
There's a few of us. Yeah, I mean, I'll start. I want to hear your answer too.
Of
Uh,
course.
So now we have three. Matthias is 6, Jamie's 2.5, and Luna, she's 8 months old. I think I got that right. I always get the months difficult. Months are so difficult to keep track. But yeah, I think like definitely in terms of the idea to start a studio, having a family and being a dad definitely affected the decision in the sense that I wanted to create something that was a bit more structured, maybe, and something that it was kind of almost like, in a way, an investment. Like it wasn't just like the moment I stopped working, the moment I stopped making money. Like it was just, when you're a freelancer, a lot of times it's like that. So in a way, you're creating something that was like, okay, this might provide more stability and stuff. So that definitely affected my decisions. And the other one is, I think it definitely puts things in perspective. Like, you know, I can have a terrible day or something terribly wrong happen. You kind of come home, and having kids there is like the best part of the day. Like
it is.
Sometimes. Sometimes my wife will send me videos.
Most of the parts.
Yeah, no, I mean, in the sense that like they're not always happy as I'm getting. It's always happy to get home. Right? Sometimes you're coming to like, and they're losing their minds, and you just like jump from one job to the next, which is the way it should be. But yeah, I think like having that perspective that, you know, this work or whatever happening, this stress, it just gets so blurred and put in perspective when you have a family, when you have like these other priorities and this thing that are so much far more important. And I think that helps me to like, you know, let go of certain things maybe more, or focus on certain things more, and like definitely try to establish a structure in the studio that allows everybody to be home for dinner and not, you know, I'd rather have to hire extra freelancers, even if it means that we won't be making as much profit, if that means that people will be home for dinner. That always happens, but I feel like that's it. If I wasn't at that, maybe I wouldn't even be thinking about those stuff. Like in some way I'm thinking, because I know that I want to get home and I want to, you know, be with the kids and help them, because that's my priority. And I think also the other thing I would say that it's also when you're hiring other people, it gives you more of a sense of responsibility, especially like we have pretty much everybody here has a family, in the sense whether they're married or about to get married or they have kids. Like there's, you know, I'm not just hiring one person, in a way bringing the whole family along, and in some ways we're all responsible for each other's families to a certain extent, but most of the weight will fall on the owner to like provide for his family. So I think like decisions that you make and all those things really, they're seen from a different perspective when you have that weight in your shoulders in some ways. So what about you?
No, yeah, 100%, man. I think that's why I struggle so much of, should I have a studio? Should I keep doing this? You know, it's because with kids, there's not only joys, it's responsibility, you know, on your shoulders, and you have to think for your family as well. So the idea of having a studio, like I don't see only as a studio, but I see it as an asset, you know, asset for my future, asset for my kids, and something. It's not just a legacy or anything like that. It's mostly about stability in a way, you know, so they can feel secure in a way, you know. And but I agree 100% with you, man. It's I start to take like the motion graphics more seriously once I have my first child. I have two kids. I have Oliver, 5 years old, and I have Flora, 1 year old.
Nice.
When Oliver was born, it was the time for me to make the shift, you know, and say, okay, we're not playing anymore. We're not just gonna try. We're gonna, you know, shift this into a real deal. It's gonna be a business. So I have like this little person, you know, that needs me, and I have to support them. And I've been lucky enough to support my family doing what I love, which is great. I feel like I'm taking this more seriously now, And of course, I one of the other ideas, like my restrictions of having a studio, is that I will have to have like a place to be with people around. Not that people around is bad, but I love working from home. I love being close to them. So every time that I like press the render button, I'm just gonna check on them. I'm gonna, like I have lunch with them every day. So I'm here, I was lucky enough to see both of my kids walking for the very first time, you know, walking and talking for the very first time. It goes fast, man. Like it goes super fast. So those little moments for me to be close, to be at home, it's really important. As you said, it's sometimes you guys pay some freelancers so you can be at home, for dinner. To me, it's really important to be home so I can watch those little changes happening. I don't know if it makes sense, but maybe when they are, I don't know, maybe my youngest, it's like 6, or all the new tricks start to disappear, and they're like a little bit more like taking care of themselves.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the time for me to take the leap and okay, now it's time.
Right. So, I mean, I'm just what you said, maybe question, like, you probably have just the way that they're being set up and working, like a bunch of freelancers, I guess. But I think particularly that you have kids, you already kind of had this work from home set up when everything happened.
Uh-huh.
Um, and like, because we all had to do it,
Yeah.
obviously. And for us, I mean, partly it's because we have a tiny, tiny home. So it was incredibly difficult to kind of like keep that separation. But like, okay,
Yes.
go focus. And, I can hear Jamie crying. Right
Yeah.
now. Like, I need to make a choice with my headphones. And sometimes, might make the wrong decision. But it's yeah. How can you like? For me, one of my favorite things is like creating. Like I'm like a 10-minute bike ride from home,
Sure.
very close.
Mm-hmm.
So like that separation, it's very helpful to me to kind of like pause work, get onto home mode, and then obviously
Mm-hmm.
as a homeowner, a lot of the things spill into you even in at home. But how do you manage that separation, or can you like roll from one to the next pretty easily?
Yeah, no, yeah. We used to live in like in the middle of the hotspot in LA. So it means that we used to live in a very small place as well. Like so with kids, they were like I was working with kids on my shoulders.
Yeah.
So we agreed that I would have to maybe try to find a office space close to home so I can focus a little bit more, or we should get like a bigger house. And we left the downtown LA, like the really clown LA. We moved to the countryside of California, and here we can afford like a better house.
Yeah.
So I have my own studio here. I can shut the door. Where?
Where are you guys?
Do you know Temecula? I
Uh,
don't know if you know that. It's like there's a bunch of wineries here. It's like a Napa Valley, but in a smaller scale. It's in between San Diego and Los Angeles. I'm
yeah.
an hour and 20 minutes from LA.
Right.
But we moved here. We got a bigger house, and like I have my office here with the door, so the kids can do a lot of noises. It doesn't bother me. So that was one thing, and the other thing, the good thing is that I have like ACD, which means like once I'm focused on one thing, I'm really focused on one thing. I cannot like shift my attention very often. So it's like it's a curse, but also it's a bless.
Mhm.
So that's a good thing too. But it was like an adaptation phase, and now we're here together. So I think it was the best decision for us.
Nice.
And yeah, it was great. Great.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the industry, I feel like it's going through that stage where like
Yeah.
maybe I don't need to be in the heart of New York or LA.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Maybe, I mean, some people might, but I feel like there's definitely we're all getting older. That's just the nature of it, and we're
Yeah, yeah. And we don't go out anymore, me and my wife. We're just like enjoying some Netflix,
yeah,
once we can. So yeah, we're just like our priorities are different nowadays. So that's why we're super happy here.
that
And
sounds.
yesterday I talked to a nice sheet studio.
Mm-hmm.
They're from Spain.
Mm-hmm.
And that was part of our conversation as well. You don't have like to be in the middle of the hurricane to produce something awesome, You can be like in a little spot, like I don't know, maybe in the middle of nowhere. Like Beeple is one of the great example of that, He lives in the middle of nowhere, and he does like great stuff, man. Amazing stuff, you know. So Ashtar, he lives in San Diego, so it's not like part of the industry, but he managed to create something great.
Well, it's
So
not even
yeah,
San Diego. It's like a small San
yeah,
Marcos
it's
thing.
something, yeah, close to San Diego. So man, you
Yeah,
don't need you don't need to be in the middle of the hurricane to create cool
yeah,
stuff. So
totally.
yeah, and I have a new a great question for Timur Me Animation. I love Jorge's project Crazy Enough, and I'm so curious how many hours went in that piece. In which piece?
Oof, it's a nation piece. It's like one of the
Oh, okay.
cool. It's the one that I ripped Chris Kelly off. Is he here? I thought I saw his name earlier.
That's cool. And did you design and animate as well? Do you have your little? Sometimes you put your feet into the design world, or just like doing.
Yeah, I mean, I sometimes do. That one I did design, but the
Hmm.
reason why it's the way it is because I didn't know how to design, so I decided I'm just gonna put a bunch of circles and squares and animate them. Um, but I have no idea how many hours went into that to answer that question. It was definitely, uh, like I was in school and I remember spending nights in the school animating that piece for
That's
weeks.
cool.
So it was definitely a long, tedious. I mean, the program is just a year, and I think that one was from the moment they assigned it to us to it was supposed to be done. I think it was like maybe 2 or 3 months. So I don't
Hmm.
know, but it was definitely a lot.
A lot. Yeah,
It was a lot of hours and long night hours.
I
Yeah,
know. But those are the best projects where you learn the
yeah,
most, and yeah.
like just yeah. I like lately I've especially with some projects that we have going on. Like I haven't really animated much in like
Uh-huh.
3 months, and when I get to animate, it's like the simplest little things. Sometimes I like the ones that give me the most joy. It's just like figuring out just the right bounce or whatever that is. Like just honing in into like one little movement and watching that movement, no kidding, 400 times until it looks right. Like uh, I still that still gets a kick out of me, like nothing else. And I hope that no matter how much I end up directing or produce or well, not producing, but like
Hmm.
managing. Like I hope I can still get my hands dirty once in a while to just kind of like put some keyframes in there, and
That's cool.
yeah,
Man, that's cool. And I gotta ask you, man. This is more like a technical question. I know you guys use a lot of After Effects over there, but now I think it was yesterday. It was the official release for Calvary.
yes,
How do you guys see? I tried Calvary, and man, I got pretty impressed. I got pretty impressed with a lot of features they have there. So I just want to hear your take on this, like in a technical aspect of this software.
yeah.
How do you see the future of the animation? Do you think we're gonna all shift to the Calvary, or we're gonna have this scenario where people work like Cinema 4D, Maya, and maybe you
Yeah,
know,
yeah. I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen, but the way I see it is uh, applications like Cavalry, which are awesome. I think they're necessary and like we need more like those that will
hmm
in a way broaden the not just the capabilities of a software, because like there's obviously things like how you can do that After Effects would take times to do, but just broaden the idea that it's not about After Effects. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
not about like Adobe owning everything. It's not about like if you can't figure out how to do what you want to do, like I feel like this can open the eyes to many people to like build their own things. And I feel like there is like in the 3D world, in the editing world, the music world, there's a various suites. Like you got like you can name at least five. When it comes to motion graphics, you can name maybe two, right? Like
Yes.
it's like this weird thing. So I feel like if there's more, it will not only allow more people to access them, it will allow to like new features to be created. It will allow for like certain healthy competition between Adobe and Cavalry. Hopefully, they just don't get buyout, and like just that's kind of what I like to see, and ultimately, like I don't know, like especially like stuff like you do, like you don't even have rigs in your characters, and you make it look so
Yeah.
awesome. Like I feel like
Thank you.
if you know how to create something,
Mm-hmm.
all you need to know is just the basic things, even if you do them wrong,
Yeah.
something awesome. And then like these tools are helpful to kind of like take things to the next level, or like efficiency and all that stuff. But if you don't have that base, which I feel like everybody needs that base,
Yeah.
these other softwares and new technologies are irrelevant. But I feel like having these new things with a good base can lead to like really cool new things that we haven't even dreamed of, right? Like a
Yeah.
12-year-old kid maybe is downloading Cavalry right now and it's creating the next amazing piece of motion graphics, and we just can't wait to see it, right? Like
It might be a great door to so we can see more of those projects out there that we think to ourselves, how this guy or this girl created this, how this technique is made. I don't know how to do that,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know. And
And
that's
I feel like that is exactly what I want to see more. Like I feel like
yeah.
in a there's been maybe I feel like maybe this year not so much, but in previous years, everything that we posted on One After Coffee, even though I thought they were amazing, like very rarely I would ask like how on earth did they make that, right? Like
Hmm.
I miss that
I
question.
miss that too,
Yeah.
man. I miss that too, dude.
So
It's
hopefully more stuff like this will push people to create stuff. Like there are some stuff from Cavalry that has come out that looks like dust and stuff, and I'm
yeah.
like, how do they do that?
How
Like,
they do that? It's crazy. The last piece, I don't remember the last piece. I remember the piece, but I don't remember the name of the piece. And I saw this character animated in such a different way, and I thought, man, this is not Photoshop. It looks like a cell animation, but it's not Photoshop, or it's not animate or anything like that. It's not cell animation, but it's not After Effects as well. And I tried to find the guy who created that, and it took me some time, but I finally found him, and I wrote him an email and say, man, how did you create that? And he just told me, I used Moho. You know, I don't know
wow,
if you know Moho, the
yeah,
software.
yeah,
I said, geez, I gotta learn Moho. So
yeah,
I dive into Moho, but it's like, again, that's why I hate Calvary so much, because now I'm gonna have to learn it because it's so awesome, and out of that I can maybe create some new stuff, you know.
yeah,
And it's great, man. I love learning new techniques. I love learning how people approach different ways to create awesome stuff, and it's amazing. It's so awesome.
yeah. Well, Claudio uses Mario Kart to animate. Apparently, it's
He asked you a question. Do you want to answer? I saw the question. If you want to answer, go for it, man.
what did he ask? Uh, Claudio's so bad at Mario Kart. What version of After Effects did you first use, and how are your Mario Kart skills? All right, first version of After Effects I used, I want to say 6,
Hmm.
maybe 7, whatever that was.
Yeah.
It was before CS, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, man. I used the 5.5.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, no, no. It was like a knockout
Yeah, no, actually,
version.
I had a little weird project with a friend, and he had this Mac. Well, he had like big Mac,
Yeah.
and they had After Effects there, and the thing was 5 point something. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the
Oh,
version that they released the camera.
yeah,
I
same.
got I got the camera. Yes.
But yeah, I didn't really know how was I doing. Like I opened it, but I didn't use it, and I didn't actually use it for like probably a couple of years after. So that version doesn't really count. But yeah. Sorry, Claudia, I haven't played Mario Kart in a long time. We play Rocket League, man. This is move on.
Man, and I cannot end this conversation without talking about Blend, like, and how Blend has an important place in our industry, and I have a complaint about Blend that I don't like at all. It's not every year. And I know how hard it is for you to pull it off. It's a lot of hard work, and I admire you guys so much for putting this together. You know, it was amazing. Like the first time, I've been once. I missed last year because my daughter she was so tiny. But man, I remember as it was yesterday. It was amazing to be around of such a great people and to be surrounded of people eager to learn and to exchange this not just technical information, but this culture between how motion graphics is for you in, I don't know, Germany, because we had people all over the world.
Yeah.
Man, it was amazing. Like,
Thanks, man.
how do you guys come up with this idea? And is it possible that one day we can have Blend every 6 months?
No. I would have to quit my job. Yeah, I know. We could all hug. I miss hugs.
Yeah.
I don't remember hugging that many people in my life that Blend. It's like, yeah. It's like probably I had like, 500 hugs all my life until Blend, and then I had like 2,000. Pretty crazy. But yeah, well, first of all, thank you. Thanks for coming, and thanks for everybody who came. Like, it was definitely a bit of a gamble for us who put it up because none of us really had experience with events or anything like that. One after coffee.
Chris is the worst. Yes. But I love, man, the piece they made for Blend that year was like.
Oh yes. No, I mean, like,
I hate Oddfellows. And by the way, sorry to cut you, but I have to bring this up. I got the reference in that piece for School of Motion only yesterday. That you guys put like Buck, Giant Ant, and a little ball with Oddfellows in there.
Yes.
And, genius. I love that. I had to tell you that. Sorry.
Where's Gunner? Dude,
Oh yeah, there's Gunner. Man, I had to find that. I missed that one.
Yeah, there's the Giant Ant, the Buck, the Gunner, and the Oddfellows. The four beasts of the apocalypse.
Yes.
No, but yeah, but so like we just kind of like had this idea to bring the channel into real life. Like the channel was also a bit of an accident. Me and Claudio started putting stuff into a Vimeo channel. Mm-hmm. People started following it, and everybody was very nice, which was weird. It was like, oh, people, talk to each other, and like,
yeah,
wouldn't it be cool if all these people are in the same place? So that's kind of all began, and it took many years for it to actually happen, and many different people, and certain key people, like that just. Like Sander was at Jam for a little bit working on a project, and then we had an intern, Marissa. She was talking about N5, and then we had all these different ideas of bringing things together. And then Claudio was involved, and then Sander got involved, and then Teresa, who's the producer at Janet, overheard us. She got involved, and then also we had a team. And then we had the first year we had a few other people. One of them was Caspian, who had experience with POSFest, and they were like, okay, like so I had this manifesto of what I wanted Blend to be. And it didn't have a name at the time. It was just the Wackfest, the One After Coffee Festival. So
cool.
Glad we changed the name. But it was like, okay, like this is like, it was like a 2-page document or something. It's somewhere still. And then eventually we trimmed it down to what the manifesto video is. Um, and it's like just bringing people together, meet our heroes, and ultimately, and this is what Claudio usually says, which I like, it's like ultimately it's just we're just creating the event that we want to attend. Like it's that simple. Like what would it take? Who would it be? Who's speaking? What sort of things would you be doing in this motion design focused event that we want to attend? And people just started showing up, and that's what made Blend Blend. Like
Cool.
the fact that the first Blend went well was because people that actually were, you know, of certain household name or relevance were there. Like, you know, like we got Bach to do the titles, and we had, or you know, so many speakers, and they like, we didn't sell out right away. We sold out, I think it's like 2 weeks or something before the event, and we were kind of like overconfident at the beginning. We're like, oh, we're just super fast, and it didn't happen. But then the fact that so many people were there that wanted to meet other people, and so many people out of town, kind of like made what Blend is all these people from all over the world. You know, the speakers in a way are just an excuse to get all these people in the same room, and it's
Yeah.
all, you know, people like you coming, and people like whatever Claudio coming, and Thunder, and my, like even the team has to come together to make it happen. Like only Teresa and I are here. Claudia and Sander are usually not here. They just come.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that's kind of like the whole thing. And then the rest is very much logistics, and a lot of it falls into the brain of Teresa, who has a more producing, make it happen, practical mindset.
Uh-huh.
And us that we can get a bit carried away with ideas. So yeah, I don't know.
And it's a different kind of, I don't know, man. I feel like I don't know how to describe this, but like Blend, for example, is different from any other festival that I've been part of. You know, like the tickets went out like, dude, minutes.
Yeah.
Like they sold out like super quick, last version. And I don't know, people usually they when they go to Blend, they feel, I don't know, man. It's part of something else, you know. It's great. It was so amazing for me to be part of that, like for that year. And I feel like I've learned so much from different people, and like those speeches were great. So yeah, thank you for pulling this together. All the team. Claudio is there too, so he's hearing me. Claudio, thank you so much for being part of this. And do you guys have plans for a new Blend? I gotta ask you, man. Sorry about that. I know it's but do you guys have plans for a new Blend? Can you tell this already or no?
Uh,
Or there will be more?
what do you think, Claudio? You want to answer that? Are you there?
Let me just see one thing here. No, I just
Um,
uh
well,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know if he's still there, but um, we don't have plans for next year or the year after.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you that much.
Okay.
I mean, especially after this year, you know, I feel like I'm just so thankful that we didn't do Blend during basically to plan twice, right?
Mm-hmm.
The people that are planning like F5 or Dash Batch, like they're having put two events really, and only for
Yeah.
one. And it still isn't.
Oh, nice try. Nice try.
So yeah, so that was my answer.
Nice try. No, yeah, but
No, yeah. So like, yeah, we've decided that we're not obviously like we don't even know what events will look like post COVID, right? Like
post-COVID, yes.
what will an event look like that will even people want to be comfortable being in it, and like our responsibilities and our assumptions as organizers
Yeah.
is a whole different kind of worms that we haven't even thought about. We hadn't had to think about it. So definitely we're not doing anything next year or the year after. After that, it just
Who
I
knows?
honestly don't know. Like part of me is, you know, like in a way, I don't want to say responsibility, but I feel like we have created something special, and that, you know, taking it away feels wrong in a way. Like I feel like I'm taking something away from you that I just gave you, and it just
Mm-hmm.
feels wrong.
It's wrong. It's wrong.
I mean, Blend is not dead right now, but
Yeah.
I just don't know how long it will be sleeping for. That's just as much as I can say, really.
No, but I think like you guys you guys were a big influence for me to come up with these chats, like to come up with talk to people. I'm a really introvert guy. I hate be in highlights. I hate be out there and showing my face. I don't like that at all. But I felt like we need to come up with something to bring the community together in a way that you guys did. And I feel like it's our responsibility to make our industry alive and not just only putting out great animation and great content, but to talking to people and to understand how like our heroes work or how we can learn a different technique or how we can learn a different thinking. And I think it's if I'm doing this today, like this talks, it's for sure you guys are part of that too, like because I felt inspired in so many ways that I would love to people that are watching this or people that are going to watch this later on YouTube, they can feel something and then can feel inspired, then can create maybe a new festival or they can create a new talks and promote conversations and make this uh, uh, even apart, we can be together somehow.
And I think that's been one of the coolest things about Blend, seeing that we don't claim to be the first motion dedicated event. We're not. But
Hmm.
I think seeing how much, like, I feel like we made a big loud scream and there's still some echoes happening in different cities. So it was like, oh, maybe we can start our little, Blendish thing. Like, maybe
Yes.
start like this. And like, I love to see that. Like, I think that's such an intangible thing that we don't see. The fact that more people are like, hey, like I like these people. I kind of want to hang out with them, or I don't
Yeah.
like them, but I still want to hang out with them. Like, it's kind of like creating that sense of community, seeing more and more people doing that. It's been great.
Yeah,
Again, it's not that we started it, but hearing people like you saying this, it's very very encouraging.
it is totally. And it's nice to see people like behind the frames. They have faces, they have lives beyond the computer, like they have families, they have struggles, they have problems,
Yeah.
you know. And we're all humans, and we're just trying to create art here and we made art our business. And yeah, it's so cool.
Well, I wanna show you something. You ready?
Sure. Yes.
So this look, this guy's right here.
Nice.
So,
People working. Victor.
well, it's
Oh,
the
it's so
first time we're
nice.
actually showing the studio to people. So,
Really? That's
well,
cool, man.
I mean, we're kind of separated, but we're here. So there's Victor, there's Greg, and this is our street.
Man, I love that.
That's me. Stefan is all the way here. He's not here.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Um, and then as we play Rocket League, that's it. That's the studio.
Dude, that's great, man. It's real, dude. It's a real thing, man.
It is. It's
So
scary.
awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, man. I really appreciate that. So it's so great to see that you guys are there doing cool stuff for us to see, keep us inspired in so many ways. Uh, Claudius. I think he loves Nintendo too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, but man, it's a such nice space. I really love it. I love it. I love how the setup is.
Yeah, it's fun. Someone was asking, that's our space. We recently just moved here. I mean, at first it was just me for a while, but now
Uh-huh.
we're actually here-ish. Hopefully, we're much better than you guys in the U.S. Thankfully. So you guys come visit.
I know, man. For sure, me and my wife have big plans to go to Canada. We want to visit Vancouver for sure. because it's beautiful out there. You know, like we want to go, and suddenly when all this pandemic and crazy times
Yeah.
cleared, hope we can get together with the families. We could do like a huge picnic or something.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That'll be amazing.
Yeah, well, thanks everybody for joining in.
Yeah,
B, nice to see you there. Thanks for that question,
it's good to see great people here.
Chris.
Jorge, I want to thank you so much for putting aside this time and to talk to us and to share a lot of great stuff with us. And thank you so much.
Oh, thanks for having me, man. It's you're behind some heroes here, so it's an honor being here. Thanks.
It's yeah, amazing. And we have some heroes here too, like on the timeline, send you a lot of love here.
Yeah,
Have B, have like Chris from Oddfellows, like amazing people here. Thank you so much for showing up, guys. And buddy, take care of your family, and hope to see you soon in live in person.
yeah, thanks, man.
Love to you guys all.
Bye, likewise.